Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic. I'm Drake. I've been getting a lot of questions about Mercury Retrograde and why I don't ever seem to talk about it or even seem to care about it. And a lot of the practitioners who know me well, spend a lot of time around me, they've also commented how it appears that retrograde doesn't ever seem to affect me. And honestly, that's what I want this video to be about, is because I do have a trick. And the trick is actually relatively simple, and it's something that can be done in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about Mercury retrograde. Now, as most of you know, astrology is not my strongest point. But Mercury retrograde is when Mercury appears to be moving backwards in the sky. And because of this, people say that it shifts the energy and reverses it in some ways. It gets a lot of bad raps for any time Mercury is retrograde. It affects communications, it affects contracts, it can affect travel. So you always hear these stories: don't sign a contract, don't make any big decisions. Careful how you say things, because communications will go haywire and people will take it wrong. You'll end up in arguments. Even disagreements will get blown out of proportion. And I've actually met a lot of practitioners who they appear to be hermits during retrograde as much as absolutely possible. And I've never understood this myself. But if you're having all these problems and life is going crazy, I could see why you just want to hunker down and wait it out. But the part that always perplexed me is you only hear about Mercury retrograde, and you don't really ever hear about the other planets. And as far as I can tell, all the planets actually do have a retrograde, at least everyone I've looked up. Feel free to correct me on that if I am wrong in the comments below. But they all do go retrograde, but you don't hear as much about them. And my guess to that is because Mercury seems to do it 3-4 times a year. It's a pretty fast little planet. So let's get to this. How do I avoid having my computer mess up, having my phone mess up, having arguments, having contracts and business deals go bad? How do I avoid Mercury screwing with my life, or any planet for that matter? Well, it's pretty simple, and it comes down to a ritual that I do at least once a week, if not daily. And it's part of my daily meditations. And many of you know I consider myself a mage. And part of being a mage in my philosophy is always being in control and mindful of the energies that are affecting your life, and seeking to control, channel, and focus those energies to where you want them. And this simple ritual is exactly the basis of how I do that. So, when we talk about energy, everybody wants to focus on the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. Or we're focusing on prosperity. We're focusing on love spells. We're focusing on getting this job. And for that, I do still use specific rituals and spell work. But when we're talking about energy on a universal scale, that's where I change it up a little. And ironically, the larger it gets, the more simplified it gets. So what I will do is I'll go into my ritual room, or where you go to meditate or do any of your workings, and you want to sit down. You want to get into a meditative state, and just like you would do any energy work, you're getting ready to feel the energy, and you're getting ready to pull energy in. Now, normally we do this, again, from the 4 basic elements or the energy around us in the room. This is where we're going to start changing it. I want you to visualize all the planets in our galaxy, or, as I prefer to do it, actually visualize the Milky Way galaxy itself and see it in your mind turning. And then with that meditation, I want you to visualize yourself either above or below that galaxy. I want you to reach out your projection hand. And for most people, it's the hand you write with. So for me, I'm right-handed. or ambidextrous. So, but my right hand does tend to be my predominant hand for writing. So that's the hand you're going to reach out and you're going to connect with that energy with, because you're going to push out to it. And you're actually wanting to start to manipulate the energy first. And what I like to do is I actually like to take and work that energy into a cyclone. And I use the actual rotation of the galaxy to aid me in this. And as that happens, I then hold out my other hand in the meditation and I start pulling that energy to me. Now, once I have hold of that energy, that's when I will start pulling it down and bringing my visualization back to my ritual room. So I've now created this massive torrent of power coming straight into my ritual room. And I'm the one that's in charge of this energy, this power. And this is literally all the energy in the Milky Way. If something exists in our galaxy, we are now using that energy and all of it. Some would refer to this as just raw arcane energy, universal energy. I don't really have a name for it other than universal energy myself, so that's usually what I end up calling it. But this is the combination and the combined energies of the entire galaxy. So at this point, you have every single one of those planetary energies, whether it's retrograde or not. You are now in command of it. So now comes the hard part. Believe it or not, this is the hard part. Because it's not hard to reach out and grab energy. It's actually really easy. Energy work is a matter of will and focus and visualization. By all means, check out our energy work video for a quick primer. That video is more than enough information to do this ritual. So the hard part is, what do you do with the energy? Because you're pulling it in. Well, to be honest with you, if you're just pulling it in, it's going to do what it was going to do anyway. But that's not what we want. We want to shape it. And that's where the question is. I like to take goals. I like to have goals that I'm working on, and I like to put this energy to it. So, for example, when I launched this YouTube channel, one of the things that I used this energy for was I would actually pull this down and I would focus it into this YouTube channel and the work that I do. And I was seeking to actually make this into a successful way to reach out and teach people. Now, it worked. It worked in a bigger way than I could have expected, because not only has the YouTube channel been doing very well, but I've been able to reach out to people and they found out I do teach, and I've been getting more and more work than I can keep up with, which then led us into wanting to actually launch the online school project so that all the people wanting to take the classes can. So you can see how harnessing all this energy and pushing it toward your goal, not only can it help you achieve your goals, but it might even push you beyond what you thought you were capable of in the first place. You can also do this for really any project you want to have. If you're looking for a job, if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to build a business, any long-term goal you have, or any goal period, you could actually harness all this energy, and during the ritual, that's what you're going to focus it into. So once you do that, you start shaping it to the basic. So what I was shaping it for was actually success, project success. That was the mental words I was using. I was shaping that energy for project success. And once I had a good solid feel of that energy around me, which at this point is swirling like a vortex in the room, then I would push it back out into the universe to work for me while focusing on the exact project I was targeting. And that is what I would do. So, like I said, this can be done daily or weekly, but I was usually doing this on a weekly basis. I'll be honest, I was doing it on a weekly basis. So for a full week, all the energy had been shifted and shaped to have a positive effect on my personal goals and desires and my will as they affected my life. Now, I have encountered people who's like, well, Drake, I don't have any real major long-term goals to use this much energy on. And I get that. Sometimes we do get to a point where we're comfortable in life. I've been there myself, and that's when I was really diving heavy into my research more and more. But at the same time, you can still do this using what some might refer to as an abstract goal. So prosperity, luck, love, healing, health. These are things you can utilize this energy and put it toward to help you. So if you know you're getting to take a trip to Las Vegas next week, by all means use this ritual, harness all that energy and focus it into making you have some really positive luck while you're out there. I mean, heck, this ritual's so simple, you can even do it in your hotel room while you're there. I've never stayed in a hotel room where it's too small for me to do this ritual, because if I can sit there, I can do the ritual. I've actually done this ritual in my car. Granted, I did get some weird looks because I was sitting on a ferry crossing the water when I did it. But hey, who cares what they think? I'm being prosperous here. I'm making changes. I'm living the life. They can do whatever they're doing. Now, you can use this, like I said, for luck, and you can use it for prosperity. Now, again, anytime you're using any of these generic things, unless you focus it on, like we used the Las Vegas example, you're focusing it strictly on your luck in Vegas. But if you just generalize it, then it's going to improve your luck and your prosperity positively all around. So you may be finding more money, you may get easier business deals, you may get a raise. The more general it is, sometimes the harder it is to see it. But on the upside, you are focusing it into a positive aspect in your life, and that's the kicker. As long as you focus and shape that energy to have a positive impact on your life and to achieve your goals, none of those negative side effects that everybody worries about are going to affect you. And that's really the trick here. That's the making of a mage, I guess, as they would say. You are at that point taking charge of your life. You're making the decisions. You're putting your will to your path, and you're walking your path. Now, even with positive change, you will hit a bump in the road, because sometimes you have to shake up the old to create the new. So do be ready for those things. You cannot eliminate the bumps in the road entirely, I don't think. If I find a way, you all be the first to know. But do keep your focus on the goal and on the prize. And whether it's daily or weekly, do this ritual. Keep all those energies constantly fueling your path, your goals. And by doing that, like I said, you can overcome those negativities. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to hide in your house. You don't have to worry about what contracts you're signing. Though, when it comes to contracts, I'm a prude on that. I read them 2 or 3 times anyway. So that's just good sense and good business, so I recommend you do that anyhow. Don't sign anything and take someone's word for it. But as far as the communications issues, the computer issues, none of those have ever affected me. I've never really had a contract go bad since I've been doing this. So yeah, it's worked for me and all the students I've taught to do this, and my colleagues who've asked about it, and they've started doing it. All of us have been able to completely step away from all the negative effects of the retrogrades or any of the other energies that might plague us. In fact, one of the things I'm wanting to do is I'm actually wanting to look more into astrology, because I do believe the more knowledge you have on energy patterns, the better you can direct them. So I'm actually wondering if I can actually take this ritual and tweak it and take it to the next level if I was to improve my knowledge on astrology. So that's probably going to be my next research project over the next few months. I'm looking at a few books. Anyone has any book suggestions for me to check out while I'm doing this research, please hit me up, leave a message below, or just shoot me a message in my box. I'm definitely open to suggestions, because at this point I don't really know where to start. I do believe I'm going to go with Western astrology. Because it's a bit more compact and simpler, so I'm going to start there. But yeah, that is really it. That's as simple as it is. I know with all the hype that we hear about and how bad it is, everyone expects me to have some major secret, some trick, some massive ritual, timing it by the moon and everything. And as great as that sounds and as awesome as it would be to be like, yes, I have this massive ritual here, that's just not the truth. The truth is it's actually very simple, and it's, when applied, it works. The trick is you do have to apply it. It takes a certain bit of mindfulness, and it does take the work to actually do it. Now, a few of my colleagues said when they first started doing this, they were doing it daily, and they started seeing the effects of it within the first week easily. And a few colleagues said that once a week didn't feel like enough for them, so they started doing it daily anyway. But as they got into the routine of it, they have all gone to doing it once a week. One individual, she's actually gotten to where she does it monthly. She only does it once a month, but I will add to that, she also does a full spread. She actually casts the chart for that month coming up. So she uses that chart to have a great understanding of what's going on. And she also plans out her month and her goals for that month. And she takes all that information and pours it into that single ritual. So I can see how if you do all that work, you're going to get that return. And that's one of those great things where it shows knowledge, preparation, and intent all lining up to give you that bigger bang for your buck. Now, I do daily meditations anyways, and for me, it's just easier for me to work it into one of my meditations, or even two of them a week. Since I'm already going to be in there, I'm already going to be doing work, it's just easier for me. So that's the approach I take. And for anyone who doesn't have the knowledge of astrology, that's also an easy way to do it. But, like I said, I am planning on studying astrology to see if I can kick this up to the next level. And when I do that, if I find any new information on it, I'll be sure to update you on that as well. So, just a quick bullet-style review of this. Get into a meditative state. Visualize either all the planets or the whole galaxy. Reach out with your projection hand with your energy to connect to the energy of the whole galaxy. Begin to move that energy to create a cyclone-like vortex. Then with your receiving hand, pull that vortex to you. And at that point, bring your visualization down to your ritual room. See yourself in your ritual room now, so that all that energy has reached that point at the bottom of that vortex. And then start shaping that energy to your goal. And once you have it shaped and solidified to your goal, then you simply push it toward that goal and project it toward that goal. That's it. Now once you have pushed all that energy toward that goal, or in most cases it's going to be more like you've just directed that river to that goal. Now that the river is flowing, step back and let it do the work. Just like a river turning a water wheel, you just sit back and let it do the work for you. You don't need to turn it. The water will do the work for you. And that's exactly what this is. It's directing that massive universal river of energy to do the work for you, to help you and benefit you on your path. Now, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. We love to hear from you. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you're new to the channel, we do release a new video every week. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification icon over here, so that anytime we drop a video or get a random hair to discuss a topic, you'll get a notification. Until next time, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Drake, and this has been Working Dragon Mystic. I'll see you next time.